Hello, everyone. My name is Folashade Ayola. I'm a co-founder and chief scientist of ElectricFish, and I'm here to talk to you about the energy future we're building. We're founded in 2019 and are headquartered in California. So I don't need to tell you all about climate change and need to decarbonize transportation, but then it's a nightmare to deploy the infrastructure that we need. Power outages are growing more frequent, especially with renewable energy deployment and the variability. I went a whole week without power in Palo Alto, of all places, last year. And it takes 14 to 24 months to deploy the infrastructure we need, especially fast chargers that will help people to top up their EVs really quickly. Because utilities, of course, are concerned about voltage violations. And installation costs range from as low as $40,000 to as high as $800,000, according to recent studies. And the reason being, you need to upgrade transformers, you need to sort of deploy infrastructure trench, labor is super expensive. And so our solution at ElectricFish is simple, a battery integrated EV charger. The battery being optimized to provide valuable services, grid services to our customers and to the distribution network. And so how do we accomplish this? First, we use our big data solution called CoreScore to take in a lot of data on who lives where, what sort of infrastructure is available, pricing, competition, and especially power outage information and climate vulnerability, and to decide where we would make the most impact profitably on the grid. And then we deploy our 350 squared, which is a 350 kilowatt hour battery coupled with 350 kilowatt charging that can supply up to 100 homes for backup power for up to 4 hours at full charge, and EV fast charging top-up to provide 100 miles of range in 5 minutes. And our load balancing optimization engine called Stargazer allows us to value stack most profitably to provide these valuable services, optimized to play at the intersection of EV charging and grid services. And we do this and are able to provide our customers with and solve their pain points in a very competitive way in the market on cost and on deployment speed. So we have so far 2 patents granted and 1 that's been allowed and pending, and we outcompete our competitors, most closely FreeWire, on both installation costs, speed to deploy, and on being able to provide smart, resilient power to the grid. We're quick to go to market, and we're currently using channel partners like the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers and ecosystems like Black & Veatch that we're a part of, Prospect and Launch Alaska, to reach our customers that range across sectors from car dealerships, and we have a pilot upcoming with Kia in Nevada, to community centers, municipalities that has really opened up with the recent inflation reduction law that's been passed. And we offer both upfront sales and leasing options to best provide solutions that are very valuable to our customers. Our most recent pilot was completed very recently, in fact, a couple weeks ago. We're just decommissioning. And we were able to deploy within 2 days install and spend less than $10,000 on deployment costs. We're able to also beef up the solar systems that were available in the...
One last sentence, please.
Our sales will reach $2 million by the end of next year, and those are probability adjusted. We're raising $3.3 million right now to complement our $1.7 million CEC grant.
Thank you so much.
Look forward to talking to you all more.
Great. You can give it to hand over to the volunteers, and you will have time in the network area to talk about this more. Thank you so much. And let's move to the next solution provider with the name WeDoSolar. And Carolina, please, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Amazing to be here. Hello, everyone. My name is Carolina, and I'm the founder and CEO of WeDoSolar. I think when we think about solar, essentially we think about fields of solar somewhere on the outskirts. Or if we're lucky enough, or if we're fortunate enough, we have potentially a house where we can put solar on our rooftop. But this is not the case for everyone. And just like myself, I'm pretty sure that majority of you sitting here today are probably renters and are probably living in the city, in the apartments. We created WeDoSolar, a very simple solution that can actually fit to every single apartment in the city and make sure that people have access to renewable energy, no matter whether they're renters or owners of their own home. WeDoSolar is basically a solar solution that you can fit onto your balcony. And it serves like a privacy screen. So a privacy screen that essentially has two positive impacts. It generates energy, it lowers your electricity bills, and it's also very good for the climate because it also lowers the CO2 where it's exactly emitted, and that's in the cities. We're now live in 24 countries around Europe, and since we launched last year in February, we were instantly sold out after just 1 week. We even appeared on CNN Live this January, and this brought us quite a lot of sales and a lot of, let's say, waiting customers for our next batch of products. Let me just explain a little bit how this works. Every single set, so it's, let's say, a designed consumer electronics product that is easy to use, to install, even if you're not tech savvy. So every single set would have 8 solar panels, which are extremely lightweight. So they're specifically designed to be fit for a balcony. Each panel is only 1 kilogram each and 2 millimeters in thickness, which makes it super easy to install literally for anyone. Of course, the panels are attached with a microinverter. And a microinverter, I like to call it as a small engine that transitions solar energy into grid energy. And that microinverter is actually very smart. So we have a 4G connection built in inside, which helps us also give the power of data and historic data to all of our clients, showing them exactly how much energy they're producing and how much CO2 they're saving. But this is not all. We also have the ability to actually, let's say, turn on your household devices that are smart, maybe washing machine or dishwasher. So for example, when peaks of energy are coming in, we're able to turn these things on to optimize your energy usage. And we can actually use battery that we have at home.
Last sentence.
Yes, we have all actually fantastic batteries at home, which is our fridge. So we can actually overcool the fridge during the day and not use it during the night, which actually drops the energy price.
Thank you so much. Time flies, right? A big applause. Please hand them over to the volunteer. And I would like to see my balcony with this amazing solar energy solution. Next in the round is Sun Ice Energy by Jean-Luc. So please, the stage is yours. Big applause for Jean-Luc. Thank you.
Hey guys, my name is Jacques. So Jean-Luc is actually one of my colleagues, but he's unavailable today. So I will be presenting in place of him. So our technology essentially is figuring out a better way to store cool energy. And so traditionally, if you have a closed environment where you require a specified temperature to be maintained over a long duration of time, you need to constantly use the AC to continuously blast cool air to maintain that temperature, but that is obviously inefficient because you have lots of inefficient energy being used to constantly cool. And so we came up with this insulation method that utilizes PCM, which is phase changing material. And phase changing material, depending on what kind of target temperature you're looking for, we can use very few energy to cool the PCM, and then let the PCM to do the job of cooling the environment. And so we've already have our proof of concept done, and we're in the first stage of completed our prototype. And we've been able to use 3 hours of HVAC system or AC and provide more than 3 days of cooling at a specified temperature in a 40-foot container. And so we believe this could be a revolutionary method in residential complexes, commercial buildings, and cold storage, and especially in hotter climate regions where we were originally based out of Singapore. So in those areas where the AC is constantly operating, insulation is something that really can help to reduce the usage and the cost of electricity, and at the same time we also reduce emission of carbon into the environment. And one of the cool things that we have is that we have all that system connected to solar panels. Obviously, clients can decide what source of energy they would like to use, but for us it makes more sense to connect that to solar panels, and thereby we can have a surplus of energy once the PCM is cooled, and we can either sell it back to the grid or store it for energy, to store it in a battery for later usage. So all in all, we believe this is a way that that can help transform cooling in all areas and make sure that the world is, emitting less carbon and overall just spending less on electricity, especially with increasing cost of electricity. Yeah,
thank you so much. Thank you. You can hand them over. Thank you. Just a kind reminder about the microphones. I'm a little bit privileged here to have this type of microphone, but in general I would say it's like you need something to hold your chin sometimes when you talk. So let's try to keep it as close to the chin as possible so every one of you can actually listen. One more solution to go. Metrikus. And Michael, you're here. Are you ready? Please join the floor. Big applause.
Hello everyone, Michael Grant, the COO and founder of Metrikus. So what we do is we help people make their buildings more sustainable. So we do that by understanding what's going on in a building, whether that's indoor air quality or people count or pulling data from building management systems. As it says on the slides, that helps you reduce scope 2 emissions, it reduces energy costs. I'll come on to a case study in a minute. A lot of compliance and regulation coming out, especially across the states. It's accelerating more there, but you've got local law 97 in the US, SECR in the UK. And for landlords, doing this helps increase the property value. For a tenant, it reduces your energy costs. So how do we do this? We collect lots of different types of data in a building. We put it into our software platform, and then out the other side of that, two things happen. You can visualize the data and give you context of data so that you can help understand how your building's being used and how your energy is being used. 30% of energy in buildings is wasted every day, which is an appalling number. And then on the back side of that, you can take action. So you can automate. So we're getting to a point of automation in a building, so shutting down floors. So two case studies. One is a university in the UK called Manchester Metropolitan University, and you can see the first double-headed arrow there is when we first connected. 38 people in a building and hundreds of kilowatts of energy used, and then you can see over time during the weekend, by overlaying people count and energy, we were able to help them save 15% on their energy bills. The other one is Accenture in Madrid. That's their European HQ. We connected only people count and indoor air quality. And from that, we were able to see that people were coming in at around 9 o'clock. This is Spain. They like to go home early, but they were heating the building for hours before people came in, and they were heating it for hours after people left. So working with the landlord, make changes to the BMS, and in 3 months, we're able to save them $29,000. What they've actually done since then is they're now closing 2 of the 4 floors completely on a Friday. So people just go to 2 floors. So we're doing this more and more. Accenture started with 1 building. We're now doing 30+ buildings for Accenture globally to help them with this. When you've got 700 buildings, there's a big number to be saved on energy. But also, some of our banking clients that we've got, they're trying to right-size their buildings and estates. And if you understand what's going on those floors, if you've got a lease that goes for 30 years in one building, you want to put people in it. If you've got a lease that ends in 7 years, you want to take as many people out of that and put it in the long lease building. But you need to understand how both of those buildings are being used so that you know how many floors you can give back and how many more people you can put into the long lease of the building. So lots of different use cases. It depends on who you are as a customer, of where we start. We haven't had a single customer do only 1 project with us. Accenture's a good case in point. Went from 1, we'll do by the end of this year, we'll have done about 30 or 40 buildings, and our banking customers will have done about 20 to 30 buildings for them as well.
Super, just precise on time. Very good. You can stay on stage, and then I would like to invite ElectricFish, WeDoSolar, and Sunrise Energy for moving into our Q&A session. We will have about 6-7 minutes, so I would like to ask you to be as precise as possible to your answers, but also to your questions, so that we get as many as we can. The floor is yours. Ready to hear your questions.
Shall I start? Yeah. So congrats, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, congrats for a great pitch. Thank you very much. Can you elaborate on your costs and your margins?
Who is that? Who is that to? All of us?
Any.
Our costs will be cash flow break even by the end of the year. Our profit on our software is about 93%. Our gross margin on pro services and everything else is about 30%. Projects range from very small $10,000 projects up to one we've just finished in Canada, which is about 1.23 million over 3 years. Of that 1.23 million, about 40% of that is software ARR, and of that 40%, 93% is margin.
Thank you very much. Well, our BOM costs at around 190,000 and our sticker price 240, which brings our margins to approximately 22%. We are shooting to start our Lurid manufacturing by the end of this year, and that would allow us to bring our BOM costs down. And then by the time we sort of raise working capital and start on a leasing model, we can reduce those by an additional 40% just by economies of scale. And then our margins start to grow to approximately 40%, and we anticipate that hits by year-end 2024.
Thank you. At the moment, our margins are at 35%, but they will actually go up to 55% over time. We have different business models. We started with the direct sale business model. However, we will also have a rental model, which will take up to, like, let's say 3 to 4 years to kind of pay back and be profitable. And we're also using a different business model to actually go into companies. So we're doing employee benefit programs where we provide our solution for companies as a benefit, and with that, obviously the employees get the benefit of reducing the energy bill, but the company actually reduces their CO2 as a company, and gets it into their balance sheet.
So we currently have 60% of margin. We have 3 clients, and we are just looking for a partnership to be able to get our solution out with a different industry background, different background of people from different industries to be able to solve their problems.
One question for 3 of us dealing with materials. How do you manage the sourcing? And one specific for the platform, how do you interact with existing system managing HVAC and other systems?
Can you repeat your question? Oh, so our sourcing, so the HVAC system and the solar panels are primarily so the client can choose to source them for their own selves, but we can also provide them. So we provide mainly the main isolation, the insulation, PCM, and we have 2 products. One that's essentially cooling columns, and the other is a type of racks that we can put within the walls or below in the ground.
I mean country sourcing.
A country sourcing, primarily from China. We have our own factories in China.
Same thing. If we're talking about solar, 97% is definitely sourced in China. We would love to definitely switch to Europe, but this will take some time, right? It's a bit of a different business and different money that needs to be raised to actually create a factory in Europe, but this is the plan, hopefully within the next 5 years.
Our most critical components are the batteries and inverters, and right now the majority of those come from the US and then some from France. And we're looking to become Buy American, fully Buy American compliant by the end of the next year. The Inflation Reduction Law and big push in the Biden administration makes that very attractive for us.
To get data out of existing buildings and building management systems, we put a small gateway in called a smart server. We load our software onto it. We normalize the data, make it analysis ready, and pull it out by something called BACnet, and then we can normalize it, analyze it, and then take action with it.
We get on time?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, also a question for all of you. You spoke to it a little bit in your pitches, but I'd love to hear more about what your target market is. So for you specifically, like commercial office space, for for Sun Ice Energy, if it's commercial, residential, would love to hear more about what you're targeting there.
So commercial real estate for us is one of the big ones, but a building is a building. So we've worked in healthcare, warehousing and industrial, but if you take a look at commercial real estate, buildings over 10,000 square feet or 1,000 square meters, there's 600,000 of those in the UK, there's 6 million of those in the US, and there's about 7 million in Europe. So that's just commercial real estate and small retail stores.
Our customers vary very vastly, as you could imagine, but we've seen the most attractive segments in the interim to get us through the chasm to product market fit to be the building segment, and a little bit fleet. But we're going for municipalities in terms of buildings, commercial buildings generally, and also sort of car dealerships. And we find that to have been unlocked again by the recent IRL, and so that's our sort of immediate go-to-market.
So we started with residential as a first step, and definitely we'll be moving into the commercial. We're getting a lot of requests from hotels and definitely a lot of the real estate developers that are looking to reduce their CO2. And of course the laws right now since 2023 that quite a lot of new buildings and newly renovated buildings need to have solar.
We're currently primarily involved in commercial buildings and food industry, construction industry, and then we're going to soon be able to expand into the more of residential complexes. But primarily right now we're focusing more on commercial. Yeah.
Great. If you have a very, very short and concise question, I can take it. If it's a long one, maybe not.
Maybe in one word, what is the bottleneck of your growth? What main bottleneck?
For us, it has been financing because, as you can imagine, of course, hardware, I would say it's the same for everyone. I think hardware doesn't get enough funding at the moment, and hopefully this will change soon.
For us, the main bottleneck is just visibility because it's a very new technology, so not a lot of people know about it or is like willing to utilize it. So.
Same answer, financing, but more specifically working capital.
Ours is the procurement cycle for customers. So signing up global MSAs takes a long time, and you've got people who want to roll out buildings, but when legal and procurement get involved, it slows the process down.
Super, thank you very much. And if you allow me to make a comment, always like hardware is hard. And all the people in the panel and the jury panel, but also the pitchers, you already know that hardware is hard sometimes. I would like to thank you very much for your contribution today, for the great job that you have done in the pitching, but also the respectful jury that we have here today with us. And you can continue the conversation further in the network area so that you can talk about the hardship of hardware, if we could call it like that. And I would like to invite the jury to vote for Cop de Coeur. Sorry for my French pronunciation and my French accent, I'm trying my best. So that one of the teams that have been pitching today will be featured in Springwise magazine to get more visibility as a contribution from ChangeNOW. Thank you very much.